Good evening, everybody. How are you? This is Enrique of Spanish United. Tonight we have a very special guest from the Russian community. Max, would you feel on it, be more than welcome to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Max Gabovitch, and as Enrique said, I am part of the Russian Jewish, Ukrainian Jewish community here in LA.
Awesome, perfect. Like what I said in the emails, I would like to talk about Hispanophobia, talk about Hispanic or Russian Ukrainian relations, and how we can foster better relations between both groups through cultural and commercial and linguistic exchange.
hmm
So let's start with Hispanophobia. Are you familiar with the term Hispanophobia?
I haven't heard it, to be honest, but it sounds pretty self-explanatory. I mean, kind of the fear of people of Hispanic descent, or maybe not fear, but kind of a fear slash loathing, I would have to guess.
Yeah, basically Hispanophobia is like a newer term that's been coined up in the last couple of years, but it's basically a prejudice against Hispanic people. And as you know,
hmm
Hispanics are the largest minority in America. Especially in Los Angeles, there's a huge population, and
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and demographically is growing every couple of years. So I feel because of the past administration, it's kind of like ignited some old prejudices that people have had that were dormant, and I'm seeing a lot
hmm
of anti-Hispanic attacks and racism against Hispanic people. So,
hmm
you yourself, have you ever seen or experienced any type of Hispanophobia like within your area?
Um, I would say definitely when I was in high school, it wasn't so like overt and aggressive. It was more people or kids in high school making jokes, which at the time, we thought are harmless. But now, luckily, we've all matured. We've learned, realized that it's not okay to make jokes like that because it just leads to further, more overt, more aggressive Hispanophobia. And I really agree with your point about the last administration, how it kind of brought people's dormant feelings to the top and allowed people to express what they were hiding for so long. And that has definitely led to like a new rise in Hispanophobia, as you said.
Yeah, because I feel that it's really gotten out of control to the point that a lot of it goes unreported. Like I started this
hmm
foundation last year after the murder of Andres Guerrero, who was a 17-year-old Salvadorian
hmm
security guard that was working in Gardena, and
Yeah, I
he
heard
was
about that story. It was
yeah
really tragic.
he was just killed just like that. And the thing that really bothers me, Max, is that how
hmm
people on social media demonize this kid like he was like some type of criminal. Like he had no record, he was working two jobs, he was going to medical school out of all things. But the
Yeah.
stereotype of Hispanics is that they're either undocumented or in gangs or they're just not good people. So I decided that this needed to stop, and especially someone that comes of Hispano Jewish background. It really I can definitely relate to that.
hmm
It's all part of doing tikkun olam, which is social justice of repairing the world. So I feel that working with other groups outside of the Hispanic community, like one of the things that I do is reach out to different groups and try to
hmm
bring harmony and also to dispelling any type of stigma. Because as you know, before the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991,
hmm
Americans had a fear of the Russians
Yeah,
because of communism.
of course. Yeah. And if I can just jump in here real quick,
Be my guest.
that fear, it didn't go away when the Soviet Union collapsed. I mean, I like even me, like I was born in this country, like I'm an American citizen. It's just my heritage. My heritage goes back to there. But even me, like I've experienced um like I guess a distrust of Russian people.
Hmm.
Like I'm trying to get work in Hollywood right now, and I was working with this one producer who he kind of went on a rant about like, oh, like blah 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 used to own Hollywood, and then the Jews owned Hollywood, and now the Russians own Hollywood. And I was kind of taken back. Like I was like, oh well, I am both Russian and Jewish. And he was like, so maybe I shouldn't trust you. And I was just like, well, where's that coming from? You
Mm.
know? So I think,
Where do people believe that Russians own Hollywood? I don't see that as far as
yeah,
I
I don't
know.
know. I know that there are a lot more. It's a growing community within Hollywood. I know that for sure. Like there are more Russian people working in it, but I don't know where he got the whole notion of them owning Hollywood out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand where the Russophobia comes from.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is like you know, something that I feel that if Hispanics were to make an alliance or at least a friendship with the Russian community, I think it can be mutually beneficial on both sides because you know most Russians that are in America, a lot of them are first generation, second generation immigrants. Unlike most other white Europeans that are here
Hmm.
that they've been assimilated, you know, Russians tend to be like first or second generation immigrants, which
Yep.
I used to live close to the Little Russia area of West Hollywood. So there's a lot
Yep.
of Russian
That's it.
shops there. A lot of the people there don't even speak English. Like I remember
Hmm.
when I did tefillin at this Russian Chabad, the rabbi didn't speak English. He did the braha in Hebrew and in
Hmm.
Russian.
Wow.
So it was actually an interesting experience. But yeah, I really believe that you know, if we work together to dispel Hispanophobia, I think it could benefit. So the second
Yeah.
question would be on Hispanic Jewish, I mean not Hispanic, Hispanic Russian relation, Ukrainian relations. So
Hmm.
how would you describe Hispanic Russian relations? You know, from what you see.
I would say from my perspective, the kind of the older generation that immigrated here back in like 30, 40, 20 years ago, I would say they're more honestly hostile, I think, towards the Hispanic population, and I never understood it because to me, I saw it as both sides were escaping bad situations to come to a country where they can make their dreams come true and they believed anything was possible, and both sides worked hard to achieve their dreams, and then so that their children and their children's children can then go on to succeed and go to schools in this country. So I never understood the hostility from like the older Russian generation towards the Hispanic population,
Hmm.
but I do want to believe, and I do think that our younger generation that was born here in this country, because of that, I think we are much more kind of open and accepting of changes or things that are different from what we are normally used to.
Hmm. Yeah, the reason
Yeah.
why I asked because I've seen documentaries and spoken to people like for example like in Eastern Europe, unlike Western Europe. Eastern Europe was closed for almost 70 years because of the
Hmm.
communist bloc, and those were satellite countries of the Soviet Union. So when
Hmm.
communism collapsed, Eastern Europe opened up. But what happened was is that many people, like primarily from the former Soviet Union, like from Armenia, from the Span
Hmm.
countries, they started to immigrate to Russia for a better
Hmm.
life. So from what I've seen, and again, I'm just going by the documentary that a lot of the Eastern Europeans tend to be more hostile towards anyone that's not an ethnic Russian or ethnic Slav. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just because I visit Ukraine every year, so I see it when it happens, and to them it's natural. Like when I hear it, I'm like, that's kind of offensive, and they're like, oh, what do you mean? Like we say that all the time, and I'm just like, okay, that shouldn't be okay, but I guess your society has kind of accepted that over there.
well, yeah, because Eastern Europe was not open,
Yeah.
after the fall. So it's like before communism fell, when it came to race, they were more neutral because the communist bloc they did a lot of work with the third world, like from Africa, Latin America,
Hmm.
parts of Asia. But I feel that
Yeah.
when communism fell and everything became privatized,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of social safety nets disappeared. A lot of poverty
Yeah.
increased, and then you had the Russian mob and the oligarchs that took over. So that
Yeah.
kind of filled a power vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is interesting, which I think is like bizarre, is that a lot of neo Nazis that are in Israel actually come from the former Soviet Union. So like when they were in Russia, they were seen as Jews that were not Russian, but then when they are in Israel, they're seen as Russians. So that kind of like
Yeah.
is like an oxymoron. But what I see
Yeah.
here
It's.
in America is
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you have like both sides. But I feel that a lot of the immigrants that tend to be Russian, not all, but they tend
Mm-hmm.
to have xenophobic views towards Hispanics.
Yes, I would agree with that as well, just from the older crowd that I've seen in my life.
Hmm.
Yeah, that they also have a very kind of closed centric view on that. They don't want anyone different from them. They like everything how it is. Everyone's Russian or like a former Soviet Union bloc, like maybe they're Armenian or they're Ukrainian, but
Or
that they're
Georgian.
yeah, but that they're Russian speaking of that area.
Hmm. But yeah, I just find it to be bizarre. But I believe that if the Russian community were to engage more in Hispanic community, I think that will um, be like an olive branch extended. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, it can end any type of mistrust because as the country becomes more multicultural,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if people don't integrate with each other or at least try to know each other, you don't have to be friends with somebody, but if you have like a mutual trust or a mutual respect,
Mm-hmm.
that could prevent conflict. Because one of the reasons why there's riots is because people don't trust each other, don't like each other, and
Yeah, and that distrust has I feel like has only grown over the last I guess 4 years more or less.
oh yeah, yeah, and I really believe that there should be a partnership between the Russians and Hispanic communities because, like I said, I'm very familiar with Russian culture. I have like Russian stuff. I know Russian people. I have Russian
Mm-hmm.
rubles that people have given to me as gifts. The only thing that I'm missing
Mm-hmm.
is the Russian flag.
Mm.
But I'm very familiar with the Russians, and I know that there's a
Mm-hmm.
huge Jewish community of Jews in
Mm-hmm.
Russia. I've actually done kiruv missionary work with Russian Jews that were immigrants that didn't speak any English. I would have to fill in with them because I used to be Orthodox
Wow.
at one point. So I would do a lot of missionary work with them. And also there is a Hispanic community that is Jewish that's also very small that tends to be ostracized by the Jewish community. So I feel that there needs to be more interrogation of the Hispanic Jewish community with the Jewish community, and also more interrogation of the Russian, Russians with the Hispanic community,
Mm-hmm.
both immigrant and native born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree there. I didn't know that there was that there was much of a Hispanic Jewish community. I guess just because I've never met anyone who is both Hispanic and Jewish. But I would definitely, I feel like they should definitely be integrated into the Jewish community. All Jewish people come from the same place. We're all the same tribe. So in on that side, I mean, I feel like we should all be together.
So I'm assuming I'm the first Hispanic Jew that you talk to.
Yes, you are. You are indeed.
We exist, but we're so spread apart that we don't really have
Mhm.
like a like a synagogue or should
Yeah.
we say in Ladino a synagogue, which in Ashkenazi
Mm,
would be a shul. So
yeah.
we tend to go where there's a community. So like when I was practicing, I was part of the Persian community for many years. So
Mm,
because I was the only community that accepted me. Many of the Ashkenazi shuls did not accept me because they were always like questioning, "Are you Jewish or whatever?" I would quote the
mm,
whole Talmud, and it would be a big hassle. I would say the Russian Chabad would be an exception because they're more like a missionary branch, but
mhm,
like the mainstream ones, they were more like suspicious of outsiders.
mm.
And my third question would be, doing cultural and language exchange. So, like, how would you elaborate in having cultural exchange between the Russian Ukrainians with Latino people?
Um, I think it starts with probably the language. I mean, that's probably the easiest approach. I mean, Spanish is, if I'm not wrong, the second most spoken language in the country.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe that uh, not everyone has to learn Russian. I mean, that is a pretty difficult language, but I feel like there are so many pockets of Hispanic and Russian communities throughout Los Angeles that if there were just more kind of like cultural celebrations going on, like I know in West Hollywood they have them a lot, and I don't know where like Hispanic communities have big cultural celebrations of theirs, but I know like I just visited New York City and like there was a big Italian festival that was like in Godfather 2. That's been going on forever over there. So I thought that that was just like a really cool kind of like a block party celebrating culture. But LA is obviously a lot more spread out than New
Right.
York City. But I think yeah, just in all those pockets, just more celebrations of individual cultures and not just Hispanic and Russian, but just like all the cultures that are present in Los Angeles would just lead naturally to more understanding and integration between residents here.
Yeah, like one of the things that I would like to do is that in the future, hopefully once COVID it gets under control, is that I would like to
Hmm.
like meet like with like cultural leaders from the Russian community and do like a joint Spanish United Russian event where
Hmm.
we can talk about issues concerning both communities, have like a mutual assistance, and also that we could, rely on each other and help each other out because, in America, we're all in this together, regardless of
Hmm.
who we are, what our background is. We're on this together. All of us equally contribute in different ways
Hmm.
to the country. So I feel that if there could be like exchanges where you could have like students like children like learn Russian that are Spanish,
Hmm.
people that are
Yeah.
Russians learn Spanish. I think that would be very beneficial because I feel that needs to start young. So I'm trying to do
Yeah.
sponsorships with different organizations and communities to do like a joint Spanish United like community center.
Yeah. I think I think with learning Spanish, I mean, since it's I'm pretty sure it's like taught in most curriculums at this point, to where Russian children are kind of like they're given like I guess you're given like three options in school in terms of what language you want. It's always like Spanish, like sign language, and then there's just a third one. And most kids are going for Spanish because they know how much of the country speaks it and also how much of Los Angeles speaks it. So I feel like with Spanish, it is widely available. Of course, it can be made even more available, but I feel like it's really teaching people Russian because that's like a very non-popular, not well-known language, but it's
Mhm.
very similar to other languages of European origin. Like it's similar to German and French,
Yeah, I believe
which
Russian
yeah,
is probably what, like the seven or eight spoken language, because a lot of people speak Russian. A lot of people don't
yeah,
realize.
it's just all very far from the United States.
Right, of course, of course. Like
Yeah.
I know that the former Soviet Union speaks it. The
Hmm.
former satellite countries speak it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
anyone from like those countries knows it, even if it's not their main language now.
mhm. But yeah, Spanish is like the third spoken language in the world after
Yeah.
Chinese and English. It's like
Hmm.
almost 700 million people speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely believe that if there are to be like cultural exchanges, between
Hmm.
both groups, I think that'll definitely work out. I was gonna ask you, your mom's restaurant, is
Hmm.
it like a restaurant, or is it like a banquet hall?
It's more like a banquet hall, yeah. So it's not like you're ordering all the time and they're bringing it. It's like there's a set menu. You choose what you want from the set menu, and then it comes out in rotations.
Okay. Have you ever
Yeah.
had like non-Russians like go there and host like a like an event, or is it usually like ethnic Russians and
Yeah.
Ukrainians?
No, yeah, there have been, yeah, we've had various, like, people of various backgrounds come have their events at our restaurant.
Okay, because I will be interested in doing a venue in the future. Like maybe I could have Spanish United meet with some Russian people and talk about
Hmm.
concerns about the community and how to work together to prevent any type of mistrust between both groups.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm sure, I don't have much say in it, but I'm sure if you do speak with my mom, since she is in charge of it, I'm sure she'd be open to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke with her for a few minutes, and she was a very
Mm.
nice lady. Nice
Yeah.
lady. And one more before we go, do you have
Hmm.
any final thoughts or any questions or anything?
Um, I mean, I really respect like what you are doing here. You know, it's kind of it's unique. I would say I haven't really heard of an approach of kind of trying to unite Spanish and Russian communities. And as you said, it's not you're not just doing Spanish and Russian, right? You're doing like Spanish and various other communities. And
Exactly, correct.
yeah, it's very interesting because by extension, I feel like uh, that allows the other communities to connect with each other as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I really respect what you're doing. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Max. You were very insightful. You have a lot of knowledge for your age. As soon as I'm done, I will send you the link and I'll email it to you and text it to you, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Have yourself a wonderful evening.
You too.
Bye bye.